Hello, this is Jacey Zembal of the Wolfpack Central, part of the Rivals.com network. Coaching search is reached a stage where now athletic directors and administrators watch the coaches coach. It's a fascinating thing. People don't understand athletic directors are so busy with their jobs and what they do. They don't have time to watch a McNeese State in the middle of February or watch VCU or watch whoever. One of the biggest things that happened in 2017 is that Kevin Keatts and UNC Wilmington played in their conference tournament and won. All ADs want their coaches to reach the NCAA tournament. That is like one of the golden rules in all coaching searches. Also during that time, VCU coach Shaka Smart went from a possible NC State candidate, but he kept winning and he kept winning and he kept winning in 2017 or 2011. And the big thing about that was he actually won probably too much because he wouldn't talk to anybody until they lost. Well, they reached the Final Four. So that went all the way into April. Now, obviously, it's a lot different in today's game. The March 24th portal deadline is a major, major factor. But this is what athletic directors do. They also watch press conferences. They want to know if their coach candidate handles himself well in front of the media. Win or lose. You'd be surprised how they go through YouTubes, they watch different things. So we'll take Wednesday, for instance. McNeese State played Lamar for the Southland Championship. Now, what's fascinating about McNeese State is they basically play four guards and a power forward. The point guard, who's around 6'5", is someone that NC State fans are somewhat familiar with, Kadir Copeland. He torched NC State in one of the meetings for Syracuse last year. Had a terrific game in that ball game. I think that was probably the game where Chris Bell hit the 8 threes. Kadir Copeland was, force on both ends. So he ends up being the point guard for McNeese State, even though he's about 6'5", 6'6". Their center, quote-unquote center, is Joe Charles, a Louisiana Lafayette transfer. And then they put just guards around it. And after the game, so they win the game. Very half-court, slow, methodical game. Lamar had two bigs. They hurt him inside. 26 points, 17 rebounds for the two guys. But McNeese State made enough plays, pulled it out at the end. So, then Will Wade does his press conference. He talks about afterwards about how he basically told McNeese State, I'll give you 2 great years. No promises after that. But it was a fascinating thing. He talked about how in that league, you don't have to have the center. You don't need the bigger guys to win in the Southland. It's better to have more wings. He talked about how hard the team was to coach at the beginning of the year. Basically, he made it sound like nobody was really on the same page as he tried to mesh the newcomers in with the older players that were returning from last year's great team. So it was an interesting give and take with the media, and I'm telling you, people pay attention to that type of stuff. It's really uncanny. So that was the first game. Second game, say Mike White of Georgia is a legit candidate. Well, if anybody watched Georgia against Oklahoma, they watched Jeremiah Fears put on a show for the Sooners, the freshman point guard. They watched Asa Newell look like a potential future NBA player for Georgia. They watched Raleigh native Salas Demery have a great first, we'll say 70% of the game. The first, we'll say maybe 30, 35 minutes of the game. And then something strange happened. Georgia had a 6-point lead with a little over 8 minutes left and then could not score. Just flat out could not score. So next thing you know, Oklahoma methodically comes back. They end up winning with ease. The drought reached, I'd say at least close to 5 minutes for Georgia. And that's the type of deal where if you're watching that, you have concerns about Mike White. What happened in that stretch where they had complete control of the game. They were playing well. Asa Newell and Blue Kane and Salas Demery were humming along. And then all of a sudden they weren't. So that's the type of stuff that athletic directors, administrators, they watch that stuff. And does one game make a big deal in that sense? You would think not. You would think it'd be about the body of work. but sometimes that last impression is a strong impression. So now VCU is coming up in the Atlantic 10. They do not play on Thursday. So when Ryan Odom and VCU get going, it'll be a little later in the weekend. So you have that dynamic if you're watching that. Now with Justin Gainey as the assistant in Tennessee, you kind of look and say, what is he learning from Rick Barnes? Does he have the scout for that game? Because they'll find stuff like that out. And even assistant coaches like Gainey, they've had a lot of media attention, media availability. It's pretty cool that Tennessee lets the assistants talk to the media all throughout the year. So they'll probably go back on YouTube and watch some of his press conferences and media gatherings to see how he handles that. Because like I said, it's a huge part of the job, underrated part of the job. But that's one of the things that I've learned over the years is that you watch Kevin Keatts and UNC Wilmington, you watch Dave Doran in Northern Illinois play Akron in the MAC title game. Those are the type of things where all eyes are on them when it's coaching search season. But other than that, a lot of cool stuff on the site. 50% off sale for new subscribers for the next year through Rivals.com. Promo code PACKSEARCH. Pound all the nice socials that we got. Cool things on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, YouTube, everything, man. That's what happens in 2025 in a coaching search. So, but this is Jacey Zembal of the Wolfpack Central. Thanks.